Welcome to another edition of a Union County Conversation, a show that helps you understand Union County government and its services. I'm your host, Meg McElwain. Joining me today is Captain Jeff Uten with the Union County Sheriff's Office, and we're going to tell you about the crisis intervention team that the Sheriff's Office uses when they're out on calls. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
So we know that public safety is the number one goal of the Union County Board of Commissioners. And so the work that you and your department do is so important and so valued. And so I first want to thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for what you do day in and day out, the things that people don't see. I know it's something that you all are very passionate about. But it's not an easy job, and so I just want to commend you for the work that you do. Tell me about the crisis intervention team. What's the history of the program?
Well, the program actually was initiated in 1988 with the Memphis Police Department. Major Sam Cochran, at the time, he's retired now, saw a need in their agency to address mental health issues following a unfortunate shooting death of a mentally ill person in their city. He wanted to, first of all, reach out to the community with that, but he also needed to reach out to the mental health professionals in that area to come up with some type of training to help the officers understand, recognize the symptoms and the signs of mental illness, and two, to maybe go at a non-traditional way of trying to assist these folks. So this program was developed, and it's now called the Memphis Model, where basically you're taught de-escalation techniques, medication awareness, partnerships in the community with those that serve the mentally ill in our communities and the consumers. So it was a program that was modeled after the Memphis Police Department. Our local management entity, Cardinal Innovations Healthcare Solutions, implemented a program in 2008. We began the program in 2008 in January, and I was fortunate enough to be in the first class, and so I've benefited greatly from the training, and I've advocated it as the CIT coordinator here at the Union County Sheriff's Office since then.
So the program started in Union County in 2008.
Right.
And tell me currently how many of the officers are certified in this area?
So far since 2008, we have trained 107 officers. The LME, along with NAMI, which is the National Alliance of Mental Illness, and Rowan Cabarrus Community College, have put on these trainings ever since 2008. We generally do 4 a year, but in recent years we've gone to 3 trainings because now they're also training telecommunicators. So some of our telecommunicators from Union County 911 have also attended an abbreviated training that's more focused on how they receive the phone call and what information to try to get from that individual so that they're passing that out to the officers as they're responding.
Well, mental illness is certainly an issue that has been much discussed lately, especially with some celebrity suicides and different things like that. And so it's an epidemic, and it's one that I know that your team deals with probably more often than you would prefer. Give me an example of what a call of this nature would look like or sound like.
Well, I can give you an example. Personally, myself, I've been able to employ the techniques here at the agency in our detention center, as well as out on the patrol side of it. I was a patrol lieutenant a couple of years ago, and we had a call in the Stallings area where a gentleman who was a mental health consumer, as well as very, very intoxicated that night, had climbed on his roof, and he had a butcher's knife with him, and actually some of the first responding people there were having alcohol bottles thrown at them. He was threatening to harm himself, And it was a pretty dire situation because of the fact of the danger it was going to put the officers in to try to get him off that roof.
Right.
I was able to, as the patrol lieutenant, I was out in the county somewhere and I was responding from a good distance away, so I asked them to give me the cell phone number, and I actually called this gentleman and I talked with him on the telephone by using the de-escalation techniques that I learned through CIT, and gained his trust and established a rapport with him. I promised him that when I got on the scene that I would be the only person that he would talk to. And when I did arrive on the scene, I was able to stand in the front yard and he could see me and he could see that I was talking to him. Eventually he dropped the knife, and our officers were able to retrieve that, and then they were able to safely get him off of the roof. It could have been a very tragic situation, right. But again, one of the things that CIT tries to teach us is to use non-lethal force. Mm-hmm. Too many times, in this business, and people don't understand this, that we have to make split-second decisions.
Right.
And if there's alternatives that we can employ, then that's what we want to do. We want to obviously be very sensitive to the fact that we have to deal with this. The state has cut so much funding for mental health, and unfortunately our jails are becoming the mental health facilities, and I'm the administrator of our jail here, and I can tell you that that has definitely been an issue. CIT is designed to be a jail diversion program, and primarily it does that, but there are a lot of times where officers aren't given the choice based on what the person, whatever crime they're allegedly committing. They don't have a choice, but I can tell you that we even send our officers here in the jail to CIT training also, because if they do come here, then I want them to be able to use the same kind of techniques and the same things that they learn in the classes.
Well, you mentioned earlier de-escalation techniques. Can you tell me what some of those are, and just talk to me a little bit about what type of techniques you use in that situation?
Certainly, there's a lot of times that it's all in the way you talk to people, and that goes for any kind of call that a law enforcement officer goes on. Your communication skills are so important, but one of the things that CIT focuses on is doing something very simple like using I statements. I'm here to help you. I want to understand what's going on with you, and never asking the questions, well, why? Never ask that question, because that puts them on the defensive. Some of the other things that we do is establishing eye contact, setting out a plan, a simple plan, to try to take them out of whatever situation it is they're in. Sometimes it can be just an argument with a family member. And what we try to do is we try to, if they've been off their medication, or they have a counselor, or they have a physician, we try to get them to go more to, hey, what if I were able to help you by taking you to the local management entity here in Monroe? Sometimes we can do that. Or if they'll tell us that their medication's not right, well, you think if I talk to your doctor and maybe get you in to see them, that they can review your medical issues and things like that, and maybe talk about those things, and that usually helps a lot. Also, Cardinal Innovations has a mobile crisis team too, that we can actually use that resource to, they'll actually come to the scene. We'll have to make the scene safe, or we may have to choose an alternate location, but they'll come and meet us, and they'll do a quick assessment, and they'll say, we can do some outpatient treatment for them, or we can refer them to certain agencies, or it may be that they have to do inpatient treatment. But the bottom line is to keep them out of our jails. Right. And because the criminal element does come in, but we do have a lot of discretion, especially on misdemeanor crimes. If we can divert them away from the jail and get them the treatment they need, then everybody wins in that situation.
So how do you feel that this has benefited the work that you're doing to protect the residents of Union County?
Well, I'll just be honest with you, again, talking about how the state is turning the mental health system kind of over to private industry, and there's always issues about insurance and things like that, and so a lot of people really aren't getting that. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to be an advocate. along with NAMI, along with Cardinal Innovations, is to get a lot of knowledge out there to people. And we try to offer that as much as we can when we go on these calls, because the people that go through the CIT training are given a wealth of information and resources that they can use and utilize in the field. I think the biggest difference is that we're taking these very, very dangerous situations, and we're able to minimize them as much as possible. But the main thing is to keep those folks out of our jails, because we have medical staff 24/7. We have a psychiatrist that comes in every week, but with so many other things that we have to deal with, we're really not equipped to handle those situations. So we basically do the best we can. So, but really, it's all about awareness, and but also is making our officers safer. I teach a block in there on the de-escalation in the class, and I always tell people, don't ever lose your tactical advantage, the officers, because you don't want to get out there and get hurt yourself.
Right.
So at the same time, you keep that tactical mind, but you also employ some of these other things. So it just gives you another option.
What advice would you give a family member or even a person themselves who might be watching that suffers from mental illness or is struggling with a loved one or family member that they feel might have some sort of mental illness? What kind of advice would you give to those type of people?
Well, certainly if they haven't already plugged into local resources, I think that is one thing that is really outstanding. If they'll contact their local NAMI, we have a NAMI in Union County. They meet.
And again, that is the National
Alliance for
Mental
Mentally
Illness. Okay.
And they actually have, I believe it's weekly meetings, it may be monthly meetings, but there's a lot of support with that. And they have a place called Union House, which is over on I.B. Shive Drive, right off of Skyway, between Skyway and Charlotte. I've been to several of their meetings, great support system and group. But then also, you've got the Cardinal Innovations. You can certainly contact them at any time like that. But there's a lot of local resources that they could follow through with.
Great. And I'm sure we can show some of those numbers on our screen. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we close the program, as far as statistics that you all have achieved through the use of this program, how things have improved? Can you give us any information?
Well, we're required to do, well, I say we're required, we ask our officers to do a data sheet that gives Cardinal Innovations a lot of information. Don't necessarily list the consumer, but what they're doing is they're going back to check and see if that's anybody that they have on their list, their patient list that they've seen, and that just delivers the services a lot quicker. So I think that that in itself, I can tell you of a couple of situations of people that I know personally that we've had in and out of jail over the years because of trespassing or misuse of 911 system. That we don't see those folks anymore, because what happened was they had CIT officers that intervened and got them the necessary help that they needed, and now I see these same folks out on the street and they've not come back to our jail, and that's the bottom line. We want to keep them out of jail and then be able to give them the resources they need, because again, the state system is really shrinking down when it comes to that, and it's putting it back on the local agencies as well as some private agencies to help these folks out.
So in addition to keeping the people of Union County safe, you're also helping some of those who were before repeat offenders through this program. You're helping them become self-sufficient, helping them become better, more productive citizens, and be able to enjoy their life in a much better way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Captain Newton, thank you for spending time with us
Enjoyed
today, and we will come back and talk to you again, I'm sure, on other topics. Thank you again for the work that you and your staff do. Thank you for tuning in for this edition of a Union County Conversation. If you have any questions, you can visit unioncountync.gov, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks.